we want to build our community, and a cool way to do that is through Patreon. So through Patreon, you become partners with us in building a better podcast. So we have different tiers, and if you scroll down, you'll see the different tiers. You can just be a sponsor for $5 a month, and you'll be listed on our website as one of our patrons. And that's a pretty cool way. So we do need sponsors at all levels. And then there's an insider for $10 a month. And what an insider does is they get their name listed, and they get a once a month insider only podcast. And we get your feedback, and we want to hear what topics you want to hear about that we don't do for the regular podcast.
Jimmy's talking about this. Yes, he is talking about money being gifted towards this podcast. And the reason is, the sole reason is, so that we can increase the value of this podcast to you, our listeners. Many of you have written in and said, we'd like to see your faces. We want to hear more. We want to hear this topic. We would like one-on-one conversations with you. And through this method, we've come up with a way of doing that. So as Jimmy talks about this, keep in mind, this is not for our benefit. It is so that we have the funds to provide you with what you've wanted.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and it's just cool because we actually get to interact with you and talk with you, and that's an impossibility. Right now we have several thousand people who subscribe to the podcast, who listen to it regularly each week. And if you can imagine, several thousand people, in addition to our full-time jobs and our big Italian family and everything else that we have going on in our life, there's no possible way for us to field phone calls, emails, and all those things. But when we build a community, a small community, you guys now become part of this podcast community, and we can interact with you.
And Jimmy and
we're
I
excited
get
about
super
that.
excited. We do. We get very excited about this. I didn't mean to interfere.
Oh
Jim.
yeah,
Okay.
nope, that
All
was
right.
good. So
Okay.
the next level, the VIP level, which is really cool. So $15 a month, you get your name listed on the website as a sponsor. You get the monthly podcast that's exclusive to our patrons, and you get to do a live Q&A session with Mom and I.
I love that.
Yeah, and we want to
I
talk
think
to you
that'll
guys.
be
We want to see
wonderful.
your faces
Right.
just like you want to see ours.
Right.
And
We think you want
we
to
like
see
you
our
guys.
faces. Yeah.
And then the top tier, we didn't want to go any higher than $25 a month because it just, people get donor fatigue, and we understand that. But at the VIP plus level at $25 a month, you get all the perks of the lower tier, and in addition, you get to come on the podcast as a guest of ours. So
That's pretty incredible.
That's exciting,
That's pretty incredible.
And
Yeah.
you get to guide the topic and talk about whatever you want to talk about, but you will get to be on the show with us at the VIP plus level. So anyway, we're excited for gathering patrons. We already have several who have signed up, and they're at kind of all over different tiers, and we're super pumped about it. So join the community and help us to grow this podcast, make it better.